Hello again, it is Crew Call here on the Motor Racing Network. We're presented by Napa, and we're glad you joined us. Steve Post and Todd Gordon here, taking you into the garage and talking to the folks that make the race cars go around the racetrack. Todd, we've made it back from the cornfields of Iowa. What an entertaining event out there at Iowa Speedway.
Yeah, the energy was awesome. Sellout crowd. You know, they were, when we drove in Sunday at 9:30 in the morning, they were already tailgating, had the parking lots packed. It was they love their racing out that way, which is great, and love the opportunity to put on a show out there.
Midwestern fans, no doubt about it. They absolutely love their NASCAR racing and all the racing and dirt track racing and everything else. One of the storylines of the weekend out there was what in the wide world of sports was going on with the brake packages and the brake pads, specifically Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, Riley Herbst, maybe. I mean, there was a little talk about what was going on there, and it seems like a couple of those teams certainly salvaged out some pretty good finishes.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but as the rules are set, and we can get in a whole discussion, but whatever you show up with is what you use for the weekend. We have seen teams get the chance to change rotors, but they don't get to change which rotor. There are two different rotors in the common supplier parts. There's a light duty and a heavy duty. If you came with the light duty, you can change to another light duty. That's the way that the kind of NASCAR handles this. And likewise, if they saw, and they have to see a problem with the rotor you've got on to change it. They need to see a problem with the pad you have to let you change it to another pad of the same compound. That's just how the rule was written out, and there's a whole
the way the rules were written
reason that has gotten that way, and it has to do with people like me that would do different things. So, well, it's the truth. Crew chiefs you have to have guidelines that bookend you. I want to celebrate Denny Hamlin's effort and Chris Gale's effort. When you talk to Denny Hamlin afterwards, he was exhausted, but he'd put on and this is part of what Iowa is. Iowa isn't. I don't see Iowa as a short track.
No.
To me, Iowa is a little intermediate, and you can survive with limited breaks. It's a lot of work, and Denny Hamlin put the work in. Really impressive.
To me, it's got to be such a different focus, such a different mindset, such a different consciousness.
Came out fifth.
I know, yeah.
Like I thought he was going to be a wreck in lap 20.
So did he.
Came out fifth. They made changes. They changed. They actually made some changes to the cooling ducts to try to alleviate some challenges. Not sure where it was, front or rear, what it was, but they made some changes. They went to the back. They'd already qualified close to the back. But they put the blue collar effort in and came out with a fifth place finish.
Championship caliber team.
Yes.
We've talked about that all along, and it's days like that sometimes. Some days you just go out and put a butt whooping on everybody, and it's all other championship caliber. It's days like that when they salvage something out. Denny, after the race, heard him talking to some of the reporters after the race. He would not give you he was thinking the over-under on that was 25th. Was his over-under. When your over-under in your mind is 25th and you finish fifth, you've achieved.
He said it was a win.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, he said it was a win, and that's it's tried something different. Denny actually in his podcast, Actions Detrimental, he brought up that they hadn't been good there. We talked about that.
Yes.
This is not a racetrack that Denny's run well at. So they put in they actually chased a little bit of what 2311 was doing there, and they went in that direction, and that got them in a box that they were struggling with. So a gutsy effort by them. And I want to speak a little bit about light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
Trackhouse Racing has had a dismal year. Shane Van Gisbergen is right now in 15th in the standings, which puts him into the chase.
Right.
Kind of hanging on, working his way through. Yep. They have struggled and that's Shane's road course prowess has gotten him there. As an organization, they've struggled, and they've really struggled on Saturdays. Connor Zilic qualified right there around 10th.
Yeah.
Ross Chastain qualified right there around 10th.
Yeah. By far the best they've qualified.
I want to hit Connor to start with, but we didn't hear a lot about it. He finished 9th in Stage 1, 10th in Stage 2, 11th in the race. That's the weekend that Randall Burnett, Connor Zilic needed to put together. That's just showing progress. And oh, by the way, Ross Chastain ran up front, actually played a long strategy there. He was the top finishing Chevrolet. I think Trackhouse at least has something to build off of here at Iowa.
Yeah, I agree, and it's been a rough season for him, and it was good to see Ross up front racing there.
Ross is now like back into the conversation. He's minus 47, I think, from the cut line.
Well, the number 47. Shane is 47 to the good. Ross is 47 to the bad. Yeah. So 3 races. I mean, can Shane hang on to 47 points? Can Ross gain 47 points? I don't know.
It's a great question. It's a great question. And you've got to go to victory lane, I think, to close that gap.
Yeah.
But if you go to victory lane, you put yourself definitely in that picture. We've got Ross and Brad Keselowski, both 47, 48 points back.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Man, I'll tell you what. It's going to be awesome.
Ryan Preece sitting there, 29 points.
Back, yep.
The 60 car is 4 points back.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ryan Preece got that penalty.
That's right.
So we'll have to see Austin Cindric kind of hanging on that last spot. We'll see what plays out.
Going to be fun. That is for sure. You talk about the top Chevy team this past weekend was Trackhouse.
Yeah.
Another Chevy team that has certainly been in the headlines and really stepped up their game, Aspire Motorsports. This has been fun to watch. And we are going to talk to Luke Lambert. He is the crew chief for Carson Hocevar. We'll do that next here. Let me get the right read here. There we go. If you miss an electrical problem, it can mean big trouble for your business. That's why Napa delivers the parts, the tools, the expertise to catch problems before they become breakdowns. That's Napa know-how. Welcome back. It is Crew Call presented by Napa here on the Motor Racing Network. Let's get right to it. Head up to Spire Motorsports. Joining us, crew chief for Carson Hocevar, Luke Lambert joins us. Hello, Luke. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me this morning.
Good to chat with you. Good to check in. We love that there's a Aspire Winner Talladega banner or pit sign right over your shoulder. Really, really cool. As we look at this thing, 8th in the standings right now, just kind of assess where you guys are at this point in the season, Luke.
I feel like we're in a good spot. You know, obviously we always want to get better and improve, and I think that's our mission every week. Yeah, we've been making progress, improving throughout the whole year. Got ourselves in a pretty good position. Coming off Iowa was a disappointing event. We had an engine issue that we're still actually in the process of diagnosing and trying to understand. But, you know, without that, we would have been in a little better spot. We lost a few spots and points there. But I think the way we navigated the weekend, a lot of the things that were controllables, we still saw some good signs that we've made our car better in the race. And without having the engine issue, I think we would have still had a solid day. So really just taking it one week at a time, trying to improve. And 3 races to go in the regular season, just trying to get a little bit better every week and, you know, carry that on for the rest of the year.
How do you process a weekend that you have something outside of your control that kind of gives you a setback? You lost 3 positions in points, but you're right in the middle of a battle they're very able to get that back. How do you process that with a team and with Carson?
You know, our mission every week has been focus on the controllables, focus on the things that we can do and assess those every week and improve on them. And really not be too focused on the results at the end of the day. The results will come after we do the things that are within our control correctly. And so looking back at what happened Sunday, there was a whole lot of positives on the things that were inside of our control. There were some things that we need to work on and improve. And, you know, we saw some new scenarios that we know we need to be able to react to better. And we're, you know, diagnosing those, trying to understand what the plan of attack would be if we experience the same thing again. But, you know, that being said, when you kind of step back and look at the pit crew and look at the changes that we made to the car throughout the weekend and the changes we made going into Sunday, there were a lot of positive signs that we made some good moves there. So, unfortunately, we didn't see the results of the positive things, but, you know, that's racing. That's professional sports. We can't get over-focused on the end result. We have to focus on what's inside our control, and that's what we're doing.
So, rest of the regular season, Richmond, New Hampshire, Daytona. How does that set up for you?
Yeah, I think we're looking forward to Richmond. I think we had a good car there last year. There's some things that we know we can improve. We felt like we had decent speed, but needed to work on the long run a little bit, work on our drive on exit. We've got some ideas and some things to work on there. And so, yeah, we're whittling on the package that we had there. New Hampshire's another one that we're trying to improve our short track package, and I feel like as as the last year and a half has gone by, we've gotten a lot better at the short track. So I feel like that New Hampshire should be an okay race for us. Our plan is to just, go to each one of these races one at a time and try to make ourselves a little bit better. So, coming off of a 750 race, we're learning little things every week that we can continue to apply. I was a lot different than these next two events, but we're certainly just trying to build our program. And then, we really want to try to be set up going into Daytona to where we are, mathematically locked into the playoffs, and then we can really just focus on trying to maximize our day and get as many points as we can so that we can hopefully improve our seeding as much as possible. So that's where our head's at.
Luke, I'm glad you went there. I don't want to put the cart before the horse because mathematically you're still not locked in as far as the chase goes. But you guys look in really, really good shape. And let's look at the chase. It starts off at Darlington where you had a fourth place run. Have you looked that far ahead and how this thing lays out for you? Should you do what we think is the inevitable and make it in the chase?
Yeah, I mean, when we look at the playoff races, I feel really good about most all of them. We feel like they're strong tracks for the 77 team. We have historically been really strong in that portion of the season. We haven't had a playoff berth yet as a team, but the tracks that lay out in the playoffs are tracks that we feel like we can go and really execute well. And, we've been to some of those this year and had good runs. So, and a few of them we know things that we can be better at. So I think it'll be a good stretch for the 77 team. But, we just have to keep working all the different parts of our program. We've had some things that we needed to iron out here in the summer stretch to get to where we can execute better. And I feel like we've got a lot of parts of our program operating on all cylinders right now. And so looking forward to what the last 10 hold.
Okay. Well, let me ask, what's the biggest area that you still need to address on the 77 team?
I would say the biggest area we need to address is a bunch of little things. The biggest things that we have addressed is our pit road stuff. We've needed a lot of work there earlier in the summer. We had some issues where we lost some players for periods of time due to injuries and sickness, and we had to kind of react to that. But I'm proud of the progress we've made there. We've made that a lot stronger. We've got a really good core group there that we feel like we can really go to battle with these last few races. So I think we're in a lot better position there. The things that are out there to continue to improve are just, I think, polishing small parts of our program, the way we react, the way we maximize our day. We've made big strides this year, collecting points by maximizing our bad days. And that's really been our focus for the 77 team for 26. And so, continuing to do that and continuing to do a better job of that is where our focus is going to remain. The point system, every point is the same, whether it's a point from 30th to 29th or a point from 9th to 10th. So the days that we're struggling and having bad days, harvesting as many points as we can on those days is something that we've really put a lot of focus on, and we're going to continue to try to work harder at, and obviously try to work harder on bringing better speed and executing practice and qualifying so that we have better days and don't have as many bad days.
Luke, you mentioned you've worked on the short track package for the last year and a half. You came over to Spire Motorsports, and they were kind of this mid-pack team. They've grown. It's been incredible to watch how the performance of the team. What's that been like to be part of this improvement of this team and establishing yourselves as one of the front runners on a weekly basis?
It's been incredibly rewarding. I think that probably had as much fun at Spire as I've ever had in Cup racing, just because of the opportunity, the uniqueness of it, the chance to build something and really watch it grow and have influence on that has been a unique opportunity that I've really enjoyed. When I came to Spire in 2024, we knew we had tremendous opportunity in the sense that we had great resources, some really smart leadership here already in place, and a really young, small team that needed to be built out. And with all the changes going on in the sport and the current cars that we're running has completely changed the way you approach Cup racing and the opportunity to build from scratch almost per se. within an organization that has the resources to build properly has been really really neat. And so I feel like one thing that we've done a good job of as an organization is always kind of level set our goals at the right place. I think that's always difficult to do in racing. Everybody wants to win every week. That's a no-brainer, right? But you can't build a program if your expectations don't match your current status as an organization. And I feel like that when you look back at 2024, our objective was to try to be consistent and finish races and try to go for the Rookie of the Year. That was something that we felt like was attainable, and we set where we hoped to finish at a reasonable place. And then from that point on, we met those goals, and then we just keep ratcheting it up a little bit. We did a nice job on the 77 in 2024 being consistent, and we were able to secure the Rookie of the Year doing that. As we looked into 25 last year, we needed to we knew we needed to be better. We had gotten to a point where we could regularly race on the edge of the top 15 at times, but we're still kind of, finishing 21st in points there at the end of 24, and knew that we needed to make our car speed better and improve all that. We made huge strides of improving the car speed from 24 to 25. But the thing that we didn't have ironed out in 25 was consistency. We didn't do a great job converting days where we should have been able to get top 20 finishes because of, missing the setup or having a bad day or one thing not being right, with our program. We didn't do a good job harvesting those days. And so we converted a lot of what should have been high teen finishes into 30th place finishes. And so going into this year in the 26 season, we've really put focus on making sure that we maximize every day. And, the way the schedule plays out and the way the metrics work, so much momentum gets rolled into the following weeks. And so when you have an off day and you're able to convert it into a moderately decent finish, that sets you up for a better opportunity the following week. And that's really helped us a lot this year. We've done a nice job, limiting our finishes outside of the top 20. Unfortunately, rolling off Iowa, we did have a bad finish, but again, as we talked about, sometimes things do happen outside of your control, and how we react to those are important.
How much of that is driven by the kind of playoff format that changed? That it's not focused on wins, it's focused on consistency, on points. Is it your team making that change, or did the format kind of force your team to think differently?
I think what it really did for us on the 77 is it clarified the objective. As you look at where we were as a team last year, we were kind of like right on this spot where, we might be able to point our way in, but it's not real clear whether we can. So we really probably need to try to get that win to get in. And so this format makes that very clear. There's only one way to make it into the playoffs now. And it's collecting the points to put yourself in a points position to do so. And so that really made it easier to know what the true objectives are. And particularly, I think for Carson being a young driver, he wants to win, but more than anything, he wants to be a champion, and he wants to get into the playoffs and work himself into that direction. And so being a student of the game, I think it centered up his objectives for how we need to think about each and every week. And I think he's done a nice job maturing and adapting to this new points format and keeping the true objective in mind, and knowing that you can't throw a race away trying to get a win anymore. It doesn't work out. The ROI has completely changed. So we've approached it that way, and I think it's a big piece of why we've had a strong year in the points and got ourselves in a spot where we're inside the top 10.
Yeah, it is. It's been fun to watch. It really, truly has been, with your dynamic driver and just what you guys have put together. Luke, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing what you guys have at Richmond and New Hampshire and Daytona, and we'll talk to you down the road. Thanks for joining us.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
There we go. Luke Lambert joining us from over at Spire Motorsports. Stay with us. More Crew Call in just a moment. Crew Call rolling along here. We're presented by Napa. So glad you joined us here on the Motor Racing Network. Todd Gordon and Steve Post. And always good to catch up with Luke Lambert and the Spire Motorsports team. It's been fun to watch that team come into its own, if you will, here.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch because I remember when Luke made the transition over there, and they were kind of a growing team, but not where they are today. And you know, it's a cool ride for Luke to kind of see that, you know, that kind of maturation of Carson Hocevar and Aspire Motorsports. And they're two teams have won this year, two teams that are in the playoff picture right now. I feel like they both will make it. That's an accomplishment for this team that's kind of come from grassroots not 10 years ago.
Very humble beginnings, that is for sure. Next up for the NASCAR Cup Series, Richmond. Crew Chief Rich, lit right up with a smile. I do too. You and I. This is one of my favorite races to call. Let's talk about Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond. Racetrack that has a high lap time fall off, making drive. Guys not being wide open down the front straightaway by the end of stage one if they go screen. You'll see guys searching around the racetrack looking for different grooves. There is a banking change from lane 1 to lane 2, so you kind of see guys up the, as a run goes on, they go up the racetrack and then they try to kind of straighten out that exit. You'll see race cars that don't even think about being out against the outside wall in the front straightaway because the asphalt lower on the racetrack actually has more grip in it. So this to me, and it's a strategy race. It's one where crew chiefs make a difference and where you make a call. We will not see a two-tire call in the first 385 laps of this race.
I like how you qualified that.
Well, because I could see somebody, if we have a late caution, trying to stuff two tires on to get track position to maybe steal something. But I don't see us seeing a two-tire call in the first 385 laps.
And we don't know the answer to it. Do you stop once in a stage? Do you stop twice in a stage? We'll see.
It's twice or three times.
Twice or three times.
Well, you look at it. The stage is here, 70.
Yes.
And then stage 2 ends at 230, which is 160 laps later, 155 green probably. Yeah. And then that takes you 230 to the end is 170 laps. Last year, there was a lot of speculation in the garage about stopping stage 2 and stage 3 looks like the best way. Although we only have 8 sets of stickers laying in the pit box.
Oh, there's that.
So there was a tire conservation discussion. As all these crew chiefs and engineers and drivers do, they make what looks like dire situations into better situations. Yep. It looked like about just under 2 seconds of lap time degradation in 50 laps. They could do it on 2 stops. So we'll see how that plays out. But if we have this new rule where we'll end the stages, if the caution comes out within 10 laps at the end of the stage, that caution ends the stage. Green and white checker flies the second time by. We open pit road, makes the next stage
yet.
10 laps longer.
And does that change that dynamic?
From 170 to 180 might.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how this plays out and who short pits to cycle themselves out.
Oh, that guy.
Who goes long, because I feel like that's going to be, and
who short
equally
pits
splits it.
I love it.
There's so many moving issues here that I think I like this race. I just have to find a way to make sure that I'm educating people on the broadcast of what's going on.
I love when someone short pits, because everybody jumps on the wall. Then you just see, it's so funny when someone comes down pit road and short pits. You literally and sometimes it's not even the strategy. It's even the crew members' reaction.
Yes,
just be ready.
Somebody's coming. So we gotta
be ready. Yeah, exactly.
And last year we saw, Derek Finley left. There was a caution in stage 1. Derek Finley left Ryan Preece out because he didn't want to use up his tire strategy. And he started on a 3-stop strategy for stage 2, but nobody else joined him with it. So it kind of worked out both ways. We'll have to see what these crew chiefs come up with this year.
It's going to be awesome. Really, truly is. Motor Racing Network, our coverage begins at 3:30 on Friday afternoon with NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying. This is the 25-25, the split Group A, Group B qualifying. The last time we'll do that this year. Okay, and then at 7 o'clock on Friday night, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the Black's Tire 250, presented by BTS Rewards. Our airtime on Saturday for the Cookout 400, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, the NASCAR Cup Series at Richmond. Going to be fun.
Saturday night under the lights.
Saturday night under the lights. Going to be awesome. Really, truly is. So Awesome as well, talking with Luke Lambert from up at Spire Motorsports. He's Todd Gordon. I'm Steve Post. Thanks for joining us here on Crew Call on the Motor Racing Network, presented by Napa.